Well, good evening. I'm Duan, and this is Audrey, and we are doing Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship, the late edition. So tonight we just in the flow of things. It didn't end up happening at 5:45, and that's fine. So we are actually all finished with programs now. You might hear some rumbling and other things in the background. That's all the leaders kind of going around putting everything back. We use space here at Eastside. They're really generous with us and let us do that. What we kind of come in, the interns come and sort of move all kinds of stuff around, and then we kind of put it all back at the end of the evening and clean up and make it look like we weren't here. So that's kind of what's going on in the background. And so Audrey and I are stealing a few moments to have a late night conversation, which who knows how that will go. So you'll be along for the ride. But anyway, this is called Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship. Yes. That's actually, it's part of the experience is that we're tired at the end of the evening. But, and so actually, we have an event this Friday also. These videos, we've done these for several years. I don't know how long now. It's probably 4 or 5 years or more. And so, and we started calling it Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship a few years ago. And so then last year, we created an event called Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship. And really the intent was to allow people to come and just really understand and grasp what happens in support programs on our Tuesday nights and sometimes Thursday nights as well. And so that's happening this Friday, April 11th. And so you can still RSVP and come for that. Go to midvalleyfellowship.org/EXP MVF, or just go to the main page. It's on there. And it's a great opportunity for people to really get immersed in this and to understand a little bit more. But anyway, but for tonight, that was inspired by this. So we created the event last year. We're doing it again this year, a little bit different, some updates and things like that. But tonight, you actually had a lot of stuff going on for you, right?
Yeah.
What kind of things were you doing tonight?
Well, tonight I did Hope Together too. Is reconciliation actually possible after betrayal? And so it was really an interesting one. Partly, it's like a part 2. Last week there was a lot about forgiveness. And so tonight was reconciliation. Forgiveness is that vertical direction towards God, asking Him for help in learning to forgive. Because it's not an easy process.
No.
And so tonight was reconciliation, and that is the relationship horizontally with the arbitrator. And what does that look like? And that fact that we cannot have reconciliation until there is repentance on the side of the betrayer. And so that's what we talked about tonight. And it was a good conversation. The women that were in our group have been working through that process. And so they were able to share about it, and it was good. It's a painful one, and it's a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, but it's possible.
Yeah.
So that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and Hope Together is our 2-year program for spouses who have someone who either is struggling with sexual addiction or same-sex attraction, or anyway, so struggling with sexual brokenness. And so this is towards the end of the second year of their program. Yeah. You had some other responsibilities tonight too, though, right?
Tonight?
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah.
So before we get started every night or every Tuesday, we have a meal for our leadership. So tonight it was my night. I tag team with 2 other people, and so tonight we had a meal and we had to prepare that. And then during our worship service, we also have 2 people that are there for prayer. And so we get to the privilege of standing there and to pray with others as they come up and need prayer to get through the evening or to let go of what they've gone through throughout the week. And and I get the privilege of doing this. So yeah, it was a full evening tonight.
Yes.
But it is all such good things. To be able to participate and be part of this.
Yeah. And so during our leadership hour, we do dinner and then kind of do personal check-ins with other leaders. And then we also kind of just talk about whatever logistics we need to for the evening. So that's kind of how we start the evening. And then you mentioned worship, which is the next piece, and prayer, kind of offering the prayer during worship. And then lesson, which you facilitate a lesson. I usually, I'll bring me into this a little bit too. I lead the leadership time. So there's a little piece there. We were talking about actually preparing for the end of the year and sort of what all is involved with that as we kind of wrap up the year intentionally. We start talking about that now as we finish the end of May. And then I also was facilitating a lesson in Taking Back Ground. Taking Back Ground is for men and women who are struggling with unwanted same-sex desires. And so our topic tonight was the battle for our souls, and really just talking about how that we are in a war and that the enemy wants nothing less than to destroy us. So the John 10:10, the enemy comes to steal and kill and destroy. And Jesus says, but I have come that you might have life and have it to the full. And so just remembering that we're in a war. And so I was actually sharing a story from early on in the ministry because that lesson talks about Satan's tactics. And it talked about how that Satan's tactics are to attack marriages, to attack our perspective about the future, and to attack even our very lives. And there was a season back towards the beginning of the ministry where there were three key people, me being one of them, but three key people where there was an attack on someone's marriage. Their marriage did not survive. There was an attack at a leader person. There was an attack on a person's life. They did survive. And then there was also just my own sort of interaction with the future and kind of going, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And so that all happens kind of within the same week. And a couple of weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks later, this lesson came up as one that I was facilitating. And so it was just a very clarifying moment for me of saying, okay, the enemy is really attacking here. So we must be going in the right direction. And so, and I'm a little bit of a stubborn person. So it's like, I'm just going to go after this and we're going to do it anyway. And so that was 17 or 18 years ago. And we're still here. But so we were doing that lesson again tonight. So just an opportunity to share with the group and say, you know what, this really is a battle. And so be on your guard, armor up, and to be aware. And so in this ministry is that it is a spiritual battle. So I was facilitating that lesson. And then you actually you helped lead a small group as well for the last part of the evening. And your co-leader wasn't here this evening as well. Yeah. So I did have a co-leader, but that was a lot of fun. We were kind of pinging off of each other in a good way. So I like it when that happens.
That's good.
Like, it's like we're kind of on the same flow and there are questions going back and forth. And so it was really good. How did your small group go?
It was good. I love the small group. Lessons are great. I love the lessons, but the small group is just a more intimate time. Mm-hmm. And I love that. We've got a small group, but it was, it's just a good time of sort of bringing together, because all the people in my small group have different lessons that they come from. Mm-hmm. So we're able to maybe touch on those a little bit, see how they're going. We've had some really dark weeks for two of them, but we were able to help them process that and work through that. A lot of good crosstalk, which was always good. Small groups are good. Yeah. They're just a real hard time, so they're good.
Yeah. It was interesting tonight because we have, our three guys are also in, well, two of them are in one program and the other one, we normally have four. One of them wasn't here tonight, but so normally we're three different programs that are represented there. But it was just interesting to kind of hear how it all wove together. If there's a similar thread that was happening amongst the guys in our group. And we see that happen a lot of times where even though they're talking about different topics that they're different spots in their journey, it's like, oh, this thing kind of is common for everybody. And so that's really good. But so yeah. So if any of this kind of intrigues you or you're interested, again, we have an event on Friday called Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship. And we'll really go a little bit more into depth of these different parts of the evening, and you get to experience it a little bit in different ways. And so highly recommend it. As I say often around here, it's like we don't just do things to occupy ourselves. We do things because we feel like they have value. And so want to encourage you to be a part this Friday. You can go to our website, midvalleyfellowship.org, and you'll find all the info. And then this part of the evening, we're normally we write up some information about what happened in the night. We send out some prayer requests to people. We have a whole team of people that pray over the participants throughout the week. And so we send them information about how to pray specifically for people in a particular group. And also that it's a whole cleanup process, which we are delightfully avoiding right now.
I did notice that. Yeah.
So anyway, so we probably should actually draw this to a conclusion because, we do need to clean up and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, so that's a little bit more about, this is the late edition of Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship, which you never know what's going to happen with the late edition, right? Again, we value your prayers, even as we go from here and as we wrap up this evening, that the battle for the participants often is beginning right now because they're going from here with the things that they have been stirring and that God's been showing them. And the enemy wants nothing more than to destroy them or to steal those things from them. And so you can pray protection around those things that God's spoken tonight, those things that God's done in them. And you can be praying for them throughout the week as well. And then we will be back here for Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship next Tuesday, probably at 5:45. And we hope to see you then. Thanks for dropping in. We'll see you next time.